Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. New Year is just around the corner, and if you want a new job in 2025, like really want a job in 2025, this is the best time to look out for job. You'll have a lot of opportunities in the job market. Now, if you think that you'll start applying for jobs from 1st of January, thinking that new year, new job, you're doing it all wrong. You need to start it from today only. And you can easily get a job in the next 30 days if you're following what I'll be saying in the next couple of videos. So subscribe to this channel and follow along for the next 30 days. The first thing that you need to understand when you're looking for a job is to understand whether or not it is the right time for you to have a new job. And how do you evaluate that? A simple strategy. Just understand you need to take care of these three parameters. Are you bringing value to the company? Are you bringing value to yourself? And number three, are you valued? If the answer to all these questions is yes, then you don't need to change your job. You're getting a lot of opportunities within that role itself. But if your answer is no to any of these questions, that means you need to change your job and look out for opportunities where you are valued and you're bringing value to the company and you are also able to get value for yourself. Now, the other understanding of it is that you need to have at least some achievement in your current role that you can add it in your resume. When you have a couple of achievements from your current role that you can take on to your next role, you are good to go for your next stint. Now, the second thing you need to understand is what are the challenges in your current job search strategy and how do you find that out? You need to understand what stage you are stuck at. So there are two stages in your job search. Number one is your resume not getting shortlisted? If that's the case with you, that means either you need to upskill, you need to make sure that you are technically equipped, or there's some problem with the way your resume is, or the formatting, the words you've used. Maybe your LinkedIn or your resume needs an upgrade. So you need to work on these two things. The second case is you are not getting calls after the interview. So your resume gets shortlisted, but when you appear for your interviews, you don't hear back from them. In that case, you need to work on your interview or your communication skills and maybe prepare well before the interview. Now, let me take you through the first step and the first strategy. Whenever you're applying for a job, the first thing that you need to have in your mind is you need to be intentional. And by intentional, I mean your job search should be organized. And how do you organize it? Number one, you need to make an Excel sheet to record everything that you're doing in your job search. Now, in this Excel sheet, you need to make sure that you hit the right companies at the right time. Now, I want you to make a list of 20 companies. These should be your target companies. So once you've identified 20 companies that you'd want to work for next, make sure that you go on different job portals and job websites. You can go on LinkedIn and even Google search to find out what type of roles they are hiring for. Make sure you only search for roles that are in sync with your profile. Now, here comes the second part of understanding where you also want to upskill. Now, when you're looking at these jobs, go through their job description, and when you're reading the job description, there would be the first 5 pointers that are prerequisites or must have in that job description. Collect at least 5 of these job description and see what skills are there that you don't have. The repetitive skills in each job description is the one that you need to upskill on. So that would be the first steps towards upskilling. Now you have an understanding of what are the target companies that you want to work for, what are the roles that you want to work for, and what skills you need to work for in these roles. And once you have a list of target companies, targeted roles, and the skills that fits your role, you need to make sure that you tailor your resume and your LinkedIn profile accordingly. And how do you do that? With the help of ChatGPT. Find out all the job descriptions that works well with your profile and that are your targeted roles, and ask ChatGPT that what skills are there in those job descriptions. Make sure you add those keywords and those skills in your job description very intentionally, and also make sure that they are repetitive and you also have proof of work showcasing that you've used those skills in your current or your past roles. This is the first step of tailoring your resume and your LinkedIn profile. We'll be covering all the aspects of resume and LinkedIn optimization in my next videos, so stay tuned. For now, after you're done with tailoring your resume and your LinkedIn, the second step is to find out the right people to reach out to. See, you'll be seeing a lot of these jobs on these job portals or these job websites, but there should be multiple ways to apply and not just applying on job portals or company websites. Now, the first and the most effective way to reach out to recruiters or hiring managers is by referrals. So once you have a targeted list of companies and the job roles, go to your LinkedIn and see who are working in those companies and in similar roles. You can reach out to them if you have a mutual connection, if you like a mutual history or past, then it would be better because they would know you personally and they can refer you as well. So if you have any mutual connections, that is the best route. If you're not getting anyone to refer you, the second way is to find out who is actually hiring for that role. And how do you find that out? The first thing is, whenever you are visiting any job portal and you are looking at jobs, just see if they have mentioned who is hiring for this role as well. In most job portals, it would be there. I would be covering all the job portals and which job portals work best for you in the other reel. But for now, there are job portals who would have who is hiring for that role in that job description as well. If that is the case, just pick their name from there and go on LinkedIn, search for them, DM them, or you can even email them using any email finder tool like hunter.io, getprospect.com. These are just two tools that I've been using very frequently, but you can use other tools as well to fetch emails, and this would be the best way to reach out directly to the people who are hiring for those roles. Now, the second case is you don't know who's hiring for that role, but you have the company, you have the role. Now, you just go on LinkedIn, go to that company, look at people and primarily HRs or recruiters for that company and DM them that, hey, I came across this role and it syncs well with my profile. Just write a cold DM to them and ask them if they know who is hiring for that role. If they are only hiring for that role, they can take your profile forward. And if they're not, they would take you to the person who is actually hiring for that role. In case you don't get who's hiring for that role, just reach out to multiple recruiters and see if it takes you anywhere. Now see, this is not a one-day's job. You need to make sure that you reach out to multiple people and you follow up with them like in every 4 days or 8 days to make sure that you get response. I've seen people getting disheartened after just sending like 10 or 15 of these DMs, but let me tell you, on average, the response rate is generally 5%, which means if you're sending to 100 people, you'll get a response from only 5 people. And that is a good response rate. Now, are you sending it to 100 people? If you are on the right track. If you're not, please make sure that you're reaching out to multiple people to increase your chances of getting a response. This is the second way to get a job. Now the third, obviously, there would be times you would not get to the people who's hiring for that role or you would not have any referral. So we will go to the third part, which is applying through website, which is the company website where the job is posted, or through job portals. I urge you to diversify your job search, and by that I mean that you're applying via job portals as well, you're applying via company website as well, you're applying via referrals as well, and you're applying via DMs like LinkedIn DMs, reaching out to them on email, directly reaching out to recruiter or hiring manager. These are all the ways that you need to make sure when you're actually very serious to apply for a job. Now let's get back to the Excel sheet that we have made. So when you have your Excel sheet, the first column should be the list of target companies. The second column, roles. The third column would be the links of those roles. The fourth column would be the recruiter or the hiring manager that you know of that role. If you have any referral or the person who could refer you, write that in a column. Then you need to write when you are applying and when you are following up. If you're making sure that everything is organized in an Excel sheet, you'll be able to know when you applied, when you followed up, who did you reach out to, and who did you ask for a referral. For one role, you can reach out to multiple people, and you can reach out to multiple people for referrals as well. Just make sure that when you're reaching out to someone for a referral or reaching out to a recruiter, if they don't respond in like a week or 4-5 days, you then reach out to the other person for asking for referral. If then the next person is also not responsive, you reach out to the third. And if no one is responding, you move to the next company and you move to another role altogether. Now you'll have everything in place in just one Excel sheet, and you can look at the data to see where you are getting response from, where you need to work, where you are. If you are also getting some feedbacks, there would be companies who would give you feedback and who will tell you what's wrong with your profile. Just make sure you add that also in the Excel sheet. Now you have everything at one place, and you can actually take an informed decision of when to follow up, how to follow up, and if you need to reach out to other person as well or not. When you're doing an intentional job search, I am sure you'll be able to get your job in the next 30 days. But see, this is just the first step. This is to get your resume noticed. Once you get a call from the recruiter, you are sure that everything on the resume has been liked. See, in your job search strategy, the recruiter will be looking at the technical skills in your resume, right? So you need to focus on your technical skills, what you have learned in your current role, your achievements, what impact you created in your resume, so that they look at what you have done and if you'd be able to create value in your next role. Now, the second stage comes, the interview round. For that, you need to make sure that you tick all the personal skills options as well, which means communication skills, team handling skills, team management skills, working in a group. So recruiters primarily look for technical skills in resume and your soft skills in your interview. Now, once you get an interview call from a company, you need to make sure you know everything about that company. I know you cannot know everything, but for starters, make sure you know what is their vision, mission, and what has been in the news about them in the recent years. Also, try to find out for that role, what are they specifically looking for? Understand what are the deal breakers for that role, and for that you have to go through the job description in detail. Once, when you are obviously writing your target list of companies, you're going through that job description, but again go through it when you're going for the interview. You'll understand from the recruiter's perspective or from the hiring manager's perspective what are the non-negotiables. So you make sure you highlight that in your interview as well. For example, your technical skills, what they are also looking for, you need to mention that you have also done this in your last role. Now, other than this, I also want you to research about the person who's interviewing you. Could be the recruiter or the hiring manager. If you know their names, go to their LinkedIn profiles, understand their last experiences, what they have been doing in the current roles, and also understand the kind of personality that they are from their LinkedIn profile. This will really help you to kind of bond with the recruiter or the hiring manager in the interview. Now, in the next video, I will be covering all the job portals that you need to know that works well with your industry and your field. So stay tuned and let's meet in the next video. Hey, I just forgot to tell you one more thing. Make sure that you are very active on your LinkedIn profile from the day that you are starting your job search. And I don't mean by active, you're only looking out for jobs and other people's posts. You need to be actively active. So you need to start posting, which, anything that's related to your field, any insight that you'd want to share, any article that you read, and if you have any afterthoughts about that article, just make sure that you are like really active on LinkedIn. Whenever a recruiter will come to your profile, they'll see what's happening in your profile, and if you have like an active LinkedIn, it will really help. So start it from today only. I'll meet you in the next video.